What up, YouTube? This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Welcome to the table. You know what? Let me take the glasses off real quick. Get situated in here. I haven't done a mobile broadcast in a while, but you guys know what I do when I jump on the camera. I get in the kitchen, I get cooking. Today's no different. Ladies and gentlemen, the world as we know it is going to hell. It's going to hell unless something changes. Why do I say this? I was reviewing a channel that was talking about body count. Now, what's so interesting is that I was working on content specifically in line with that same topic. Had no idea that this was going on as far as trending and whatnot, but whichever. And the title of that was going to be, Ladies, Your Vagina is Your Resume. Well, that's going to be the title of this video. It is the title of this video. But it's just interesting how I stumbled across it and they were talking about it. So anyway, I wanted to jump on the camera and I want to speak to it because, you know, somebody has convinced our women, modern women, women today, that they are not to be held accountable for the choices that they make with their bodies, their sexual partners, their sexual activities, the jobs that are in line with the sexual, industry, sex industry, sexual practices, the illusion that there is sexual practices. I'm here to tell you guys, you need to be held accountable. Men need to start being men. Men need to start holding women accountable and stop being so passive when it comes to holding the standard. Why can I say this? How the heck do men expect for the generations to come to be better if we as men do not stand for something? You know, this is a multifaceted thing, and I firmly believe I'm going to have to pull it apart and really add continual viewpoints to it because I don't want to hold you guys too long. I do value your time, so I appreciate you. But I do want to touch on it. The mere fact, I was having this discussion. So it's story time. It's story time. I know you guys like story time. Story time. All right. I was having a discussion similar to this about 3 weeks ago with a couple of young ladies, some colleagues of mine. And we were talking about modern dating, and we were talking about the differences, men, women, who does what, who doesn't, expectations, the whole gambit, right? And one of the things that came up was promiscuity, body count, casual sex, so on and so forth. And to the young lady's point, she was saying, well, men nowadays need to understand that girls are always going to have a side piece or somebody on standby, even if they're not having sex with a lot of men. How we got to that point is that she had asked me, why do men care about body count? And I tried to explain it to her from using the analogy of a car. You know, we men like to use examples to further drive our point, and sometimes things like vehicles, things like items help to drive the point because most people can understand value with use, wear and tear, so on and so forth. Anyway, so to combat my argument, or attempt to combat my argument, her response was, well, men need to understand that even if she's not sleeping with 20 dudes or 30 dudes or 50 dudes or however, she in transition of her relationship may have that one guy that she will have that activity with, that she may continuously connect with on that level. And she'll do this to get her needs met and keep her body count down. Now, what was interesting is that, see, I like to listen and then I like to gather what a person is saying. So therefore, when I do have a pushback, if I have a pushback, which I'll talk to the men on this channel about this, learning how to listen, gentlemen, learning how to gather the information while she's giving you information. So therefore, when you do have a response, you have adequate ammunition, right? My argument was that body count matters. Her argument was that body count doesn't matter. And she turns around and says that women, modern women, most women she knows, women she's friends with, will not necessarily sleep with a bunch of guys, but may sleep with one guy particularly for a long period of time until she lands on a relationship that she wants to do what? To keep her body count down. That was her point. Is anybody paying attention? She proved my point. On one hand, she said body count shouldn't matter or doesn't matter. But then on the other hand, her response to my argument was to go and say that most girls, if not all girls, if not girls she even knows, will even go as far as finding one guy to sleep with. To what? Maintain themselves and keep what? The body count down. So that's my argument. This whole notion that body count shouldn't matter and that people are going to make their choices and that girls are going to do what they're going to do and that it shouldn't matter, if a girl has hot girl summer or she has a whole... To a young lady's admittance, it matters. See, my argument is this, and that's why I say this is going to be multifaceted. I'm going to have to do multiple broadcasts to really drive my point because I want it to be understood for the women that are listening and even for the men that are listening on how serious this is. One of the things I've learned to do in life is to try to identify the nature of a thing. And what I mean by the nature of a thing is, see, it's easier to live in this life when you understand the nature of something, because when you understand the nature of something, you can now expect, you can now build, you can now create. How can I prove this? Marketing companies, big business, brand ambassadors, these people understand people. They understand men. They understand women. They understand children. They understand families. Then if you categorize it to where it is now cultural based, they understand different cultures and so on and so on and so on, right? Why is this important? This is important is because when men are now assessing women, you need to understand the nature of women. My argument was this, ladies and gentlemen. For women to try to say that just because we're in 2022, that just because we have electric cars, that just because you can order food from your phone to a park, to your office, to your house, wherever, does not change the nature of women. The nature of women was not designed to be promiscuous. The nature of women was not designed to get multiple imprints of sexual partners from multiple partners. I don't care if it's modern time. I don't care if we have Oculus Rift and 3D this, and I don't care. Because to her point, the colleague, the lady who was trying to argue or attempting to dismantle my argument, to her own admittance, women will take a route to prevent racking up body count. That tells me that it matters. Because if it didn't matter, gentlemen, if it didn't matter, ladies, then women collectively would not only sleep with a bunch of men, would not only sleep with a bunch of men without restraint, they would admit to it. And they would be okay if the question came up on how many bodies do you have? No. That's the problem. Most women don't want to operate from a place of accountability and truth. What I've learned, again, going back to the nature of women, gentlemen, this particular part is for you. Women by design like to operate from a place of secrecy, deception. It's the mysterious nature that is the average woman. That is most women. Most women don't talk straight. Most women don't communicate straight. Most women don't even give you things exact. The ability for a woman to give you what she wants you to see and keep things behind. It's like having an ace in a hole. It's like having that last bullet in the chamber for women. They like to allow you to see what they want you to see and still keep things to themselves. They need some level of leverage because it gives them the ability to assume that they're in utter control. And it's the same thing with this body count situation. My argument is that if it wasn't something that was concerning, if it wasn't something that was a problem, ladies, then it would be no issue for a man that you're pursuing or a man that's pursuing you, vice versa, for him to question it and for you to be honest. But that's not what's going on in the world today. What's going on in the world today is that you got women who want to do what they want to do, but they want to do it and still repackage and reupholster the pussy and say that, hey, well, don't worry about what I did. That should matter. Judge me for now. Judge me for where I'm at right now. Nah, it don't work that way. I'm an analytical tactician in my mind, and I may go off on different points at times, but to even try to further drive my point, the very body that we live in, people, the biology that we have, the body is not even forgiving if you don't make the right choices by what you do to it, by what you put in it. The body will show you that the choices you make, you have to be accountable for, either by the excessive weight that you carry, the brittle bones that you develop, the process of your digestive system, the skin, and so on and so forth. So how is it that the body, without any type of, I don't know, mystic connection, simply tells you that based on choices you make at points in your life could affect you in your future? The body tells you that. Why wouldn't that be the same thing in life, ladies? Why wouldn't it be that if you make choices at certain points in your life, that they could have lasting effects? The simple fact that we have men that are co-signing this nonsense is disturbing. The simple fact that we have men who are afraid to be able to say no, ladies, that's not good behavior. Most men are not gonna want hoes. Most men are not gonna want women with high body counts. Most men are not gonna want a woman who has given herself to multiple men for a low entry point, or for nothing, or for free, or for very little in exchange, and then turn around and think that years later she gets to qualify for a different lifestyle, a different quality of man, all because she decides that now she wants to clean up her act and do different. No. Fathers need to hold these women accountable, uncles, cousins, brothers, colleagues, co-workers. The problem sometimes too is that men think that you don't have the right to speak to women and hold them accountable in public. You do. For those of us who subscribe to somewhat of a biblical premise, a foundation of spirituality through the teachings of the Bible and so on and so forth. And if you don't, that's fine too. Women were created for men, not the other way around. And for me saying that, I'm coming from the place of saying that we're responsible for women. As men, we're responsible for them. And not just for the provisions, gentlemen. Not just for the protection. The teaching, the guidance, the awareness. Back to my point of the nature thing, and I'm going to be wrapping this broadcast up. If most men open their eyes and observe the nature of women and their sporadic, chaotic, disorganized, most of the time frantic-like behavior in their natural state, there's no way that a man could never feel like he's not valuable or necessary or, necessary. Absolutely needed. Because without us, gentlemen, without us, ladies, the society has no shape, has no structure, has no organization, has no progress. That's what we do. That's what makes men valuable. So anyway, I'm coming up on my 15-minute mark. No, it was a little bit of a rant. No, I was passionate, but I am passionate about this. Ladies, I'm going to say it again. Your vagina is your resume. This is Daniel Rucker with True Table signing out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today for about 15 minutes or so. I'm going to talk about this topic again. I'm going to pull it apart. I'm going to hit it from multiple points because it needs to be discussed. I see a disconnect and some distortion and some confusion going on in this space. It needs to be corrected. If you have not already done so, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Thank you guys. Enjoy your day. And I'll be coming to you with a new upload, a new broadcast really soon. All right. Thanks.